I'm Lauren Keogh. I'm one of the Deans of Instruction for ELA and History.
And today we'll be talking about a social contract. Can I have one person read the name for us today? Crystal.
KIPP-STAR staff members will be able to collaboratively create, revise, and ratify a staff social contract for the 2017-2018 school year.
That's right.
Yeah. Does anyone recognize his image? Office Space, one of my favorite movies.
Absolutely, guys. All right. So, on your sheet of paper we gave you, there was a space at the top. I would like for you to write what I'm about to ask you to imagine. So, you are on a plane, and you're bringing one important person. You are bringing one personal possession. It's really important to you. You're bringing a goal, and you're bringing a dream that you'd like to fulfill. Giving you a minute, write it down, go.
Take about 10 more seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now your plane has crashed. Your plane has crashed, and you wake up from the rummage, and you only have one thing left. You have yourself, and you have one thing left. Take about 20 seconds to cross out these 4 things that you can't have and keep one thing. Go. Turn and talk with your partner about the one thing you chose to keep with you. Door goes first and window goes last. Go.
My mom. That was like my purse.
Oh,
Yeah, I took it long. Grand scheme of things, not as important as my sister.
Awesome.
There goes my plan to take pictures.
Okay, I would like bringing it back in 5,
now I gotta make choices.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And 0.
All right, guys. I'd just like to have 3 people share out what were one of the things that you kept. Crystal, sorry, Stacy, go around.
I kept my sister
Okay.
because I love her and she's more important than an iPad or any goal or dream that I might have.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, so the purpose of this activity is to ground you in the thought of values. The way we interact with the social contract is what's important to us. So values drive behavior, and it drives the way we will influence and interact with the social contract that we will create today. It's also important to note that everyone has different values in the room. So a social contract needs to touch everyone's individual values while still working as a collective unit. So why do we have a social contract? Can I have a reader for what a social contract is? Let's first figure out that. All right.
A social contract is an agreement made among a group laying out a standard of conduct.
Great. So a social contract has a couple of things involved. One, it is collaborative. So something that we all create together. We all become stakeholders in this. This is not something that is passed from the top down. It's something that we create from the bottom up. So it's living in a standard. For those of us who have different learning styles, it's clear, right? There is no hidden behavior. We know what the expectations are, and we're able to follow it without thinking, I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. I mean, this is what it seems like everyone else is doing. So it's very clear. 3, it's written. For those of us who like black and white, it's great that you know this, but I really want to see this in paper. I want to be able to refer to this later. It's written. And it allows us, on days when we're not being our best, to envision ourselves. If we were at our best, what would we look like? What would we feel like? What would it sound like? And it gives us something to strive to and not forget every single day.
So we're gonna do a little flashback right now. Flashback to 1 year ago, August 8th, 2016. We produced our very first social contract with the staff. It was an exciting, momentous occasion. Could I please get 5 readers? Oh look, we have 5 people here who can all read the norms for our social contract. I'm just gonna walk around and show it to you.
1. Keep students at the forefront of decision making.
2. Give each other actionable feedback and assume the best by embracing each other's perspectives.
3. Respect each other, our space, time, personalizing commitments to each other and our students.
4. Be your authentic self and encourage others to do the same.
5. Follow up in person in a timely manner and in a solution-oriented way, if it's important to you or to your work.
So the first thing I want to say is this was no easy feat to put this together. It took more than one session. There were a lot of conversations about this, and it was a really exciting thing that we were able to produce this. This was the first time in Kipstar history that we did this with our staff. And we never looked at it again. The whole goal of this is to be 100% transparent and for us to really think about how exciting it is that we have this, and also being really full, frank, and honest, and realizing that we didn't quite take this to its full potential last year. So our goal today isn't to do the exact same thing that we did last year, create a contract, be like, that's so pretty, let's sign it and not think about it again. Our goal is to make this a living document and for us all to do better and making sure this is something that lives throughout the year. We have a couple of ideas already about how we would like to bring this up at staff meetings and at grade team meetings, but we also really want to hear from you. So on your exit ticket, which you don't need to fill out yet, if you have ideas throughout the session about how to make this a living document, something that really has some life throughout the year, we really want you to write it down because we want to hear your ideas on this. So we are going to revisit last year's social contract. So on the walls around the room, each one of those 5 norms has its own poster. And we are going to individually visit each one of the posters. We're gonna have time to talk about this later, so this is really an individual process right now. You're gonna have some post-its. So with each one of these posters, if you have ideas for editing either the ideas present in that norm or the wording that you think would make it more effective for our staff, you're gonna write this on the post-it and you're gonna stick it right underneath that norm. There is one blank poster right over there. And the purpose of this poster is if you think there are norms that we should be having as a staff for our social contract that are not currently represented, please put your ideas for those norms on that paper right there. I wanna pause. Are there any questions about what I just said or any questions about the directions? All right, yes.
If you agree with something, you don't put anything.
That's a
Shoot the
great
check.
question. If you agree with something, you can either write down like, I really wanna keep this part, or you can leave it be, because the assumption is we all agreed upon it enough to ratify it. So, question. What should we be doing with our Post-its with the blank poster over there? Stacey Guerrero.
We should, if there is a norm that we feel like is not represented in the 5 norms that are already existing, we should write our suggestion down and put it on the blank post-it.
Awesome. Everyone should have their own Post-its, but there's some extra in the middle if you need some more. We're gonna give you guys about 10 minutes to make this gallery walk. Everyone grab your Post-its. Everyone grab your pen or your pencil. Everyone point to the poster you're gonna start with. Someone's gonna start with that one too. On your mark, get set, go. I don't think we actually have to do this activity, so I think we're done there.
Sweet. Thanks. Oh,
Yes. I got it.
it was effective win. Why am I putting in
I
my
got you.
password?
Be interesting if it works.